Greetings and stuff. Welcome to another edition of the YouTube channel, Too Many Plugins and Delta X-Ray. I'm your host Alex. Tonight we play Battlefield 4, and this is China Rising Gallin Peaks on the JAWS server we are. I think this is Rush, the play mode. So guys, this is why you also need to, okay, just leave him a little bit of life over there. You awesome life. So, I'm going. Hope everybody is okay. It's a little bit getting windy again here in Portugal where I am in my location, and tomorrow there's thunder and lightning coming our way. Was actually already a little bit supposed to be here today, but yeah. I'll lower my volume a little bit. Just have some other speakers now here. I was using some 8-inch PA speakers, but now I just put some 5-inch just Sony Hi-Fi 3-way speakers over here, because the PA speakers, man, even on a low volume, those things really blast, really. And yeah, for music it's nice, but when you're just watching a movie or something, or a YouTube video or a video game, you know, then yeah, it's too loud, man. Where was he? Oh my god. Yeah, too loud. It's also a small room, so where I'm in, so yeah, if you have too big speakers in your room, you know, if there's not enough volume in the room, then it becomes very becomes overwhelming, and it becomes very actually unpleasant to listen to after some time. Yeah. It really does. I have two sets of Sony SS H. I got a pair of 650s and a pair of 700s. They're very, very interesting speakers. They're really old already. They come from one set I think is from 88 or something, and the other set is from 92. It's already dead. Oh my god. Yeah, very, very, very old speakers already, but really those Sony speakers that were still made in Japan. 3-way. Got two sets of them. Yeah, I got some 650s and some 700s. SS H series. 650s and 700s. Really old already. You can still pick up these things for absolutely nothing on... how do you call it, on those second-hand sites like eBay and stuff. You can yeah, find those things really, really cheap, 30-35 bucks. And let me tell you, they're actually really, really worth it. Especially if you look at modern speakers, you know. First of all, they're really expensive, modern speakers, and many of them actually suck balls, you know. In the old time, well, in the old time, in the very old time, speakers were expensive, but you know, 2 decades ago, 20, 30 years ago, and especially 20 years ago and 10 years ago, you had a lot of speakers for a long time on the market that were actually really good. You could like get a pair for like 100, 150 bucks in it, you know. You could already get yourself a nice pair of speakers that actually really sounded good, you know, but yeah, that changed a little bit, you know. Everything today is always those sound bars and you know. So many manufacturers, you know, they don't really are interested in producing speakers, you know, for a reasonable price. They don't. Also, speakers are bigger. The shipping also, speakers that take wood and yeah, they are just you know, and the profit margin. If you make some okay speakers, you know, the cheapest I'm talking about that are a little bit reasonable is then the new SSH series, which are like $199 or something now. But you used to be able to buy them for sometimes in the sales for $80, and now they are $199, and in the sales $149, $139, sometimes $129. But you know, good speakers for the price that you're paying. Also, you have to see that. Yeah, but yeah, even those ones they already discontinued. Basically, and many brands they're all just interested in those stupid surround speakers and sound bars and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, and then shipping prices being all so expensive, yeah, it actually looks quite grim for the market of I'm talking about just normal hi-fi bookshelf shelf speakers, you know. Or floor standing ones, you know. Yeah. So anything today is minimum 200, but most of them that are a little bit reasonable, 300. Man, some time ago the prices were way better for speakers, but yeah. It's not good. But you can still, in many thrift shops and second-hand shops and sites like eBay and stuff, you can still pick up these kinds of speakers like I'm talking about, SSH 700 and 500, you know, for $30 or something. And you have then better speakers than most of them that you today buy for, you know, 200, you know. It's really true. A bit sad, but the old stuff is better, you know. Be of course, you know, careful that you don't buy speakers that have foam around it. The speakers that have foam around it, if they are 25 or 30 years old, then the foam degrades, you know. But the SSH 650s that I have, those ones that don't have foam around it, they just have a sort of a Kevlar, yeah, kind of cotton around it, flexible cotton, really strong stuff actually. So with that outer ring, you know, on a woofer, if that's foam, then if they are 30 years old, they have to be substituted, you know. That just disintegrates, you know. But if it is those ones that have just the paper cone completely, even the outside ring is just a paper cone, or then that sort of have a Kevlar cotton kind of surrounding, then you can just buy them without any issue, and the SSH 650s have that. So and I saw them already many times for sale for even as low as $20, but they're normally about $30-35. If you find those speakers in a good condition, they're really good. They're three-way also. Many modern speakers also, they're all two-way, you know. But all these older speakers, you know, from that time frame, they're all three-way, you know. It's really cool, you know, that. Because three-way sounds really better, folks. It's really, and especially if it's three-way that has a separated crossover, you know, then that sounds really good, you know. You really listen that separation, you listen really that mid-frequency, that's a separate speaker, you know, and a separate speaker for bass, and then your tweeter also separate, and that separation, you know, is really nice. And also in two-way speakers, there's a part of the mid-range that is just missing, you know. It depends what kind of music you are playing, but if you listen three-way, you start listening classical music, you start really listening a lot of stuff that on two-way you don't listen. Not that two-way is bad, that two-way is basically just the standard, you know. Even monitors, many monitors for mastering and stuff, they're all two-way, you know. Why? Because most people use two-way, so, you know, if you are mastering music, you should actually do that on two-way and not on three-way. Because they're gonna sound maybe good on your three-way system, but people that have two-way speakers, you know, you can very good have that. Then over there, it doesn't sound well, you know. It's the same like also sometimes mastering stuff or you know, monitoring your audio for your band or for your production or something. Using a subwoofer is sometimes also a bad idea, you know. Sometimes in your space that can represent itself very good, but it doesn't mean that that's gonna, on people that don't have a subwoofer and just two normal two-way speakers, that's gonna translate well. You know, that's why you should actually, you can of course, if you need to, really, your mastering, you need to listen to your, your sub, you know, the sub frequencies, and you want to do the masterization like that. You can even then cut away your mid and your treble and just focus yourself on mastering then the bass. But you should many times then even take the whole subwoofer away and the subs away and then listen again really well to your mastering, because and do that then through just two-way satellites or something, bookshelf speakers or something, you know, to make it translate well in people's speakers, you know. Most people at home just use, and in cars also, they just use two-way, you know. So. By the way, a little secret, guys, about audio, that many people don't even realize that. Is that mastering stuff for club music, for stuff that you play in discos or on big PA systems on festivals and stuff, is let me say it like this: in most clubs, the music you're listening is actually not stereo; it's mono. And on big PAs also, on big festivals and pop concerts and stuff, many times what you're listening is mono, not stereo. Especially in clubs, for electronic music and for dub and stuff like that. What you're listening over there, most of it is connected literally in mono. Because if you put a lot of stereo, the stereo spectrum in a club, you get all sorts of frequency issues. And that's why many times it sounds all really well if you just connect everything basically in bridge mono. So that's why many times stuff actually for clubs and for dance floors, you can actually, you should of course also take in consideration a little bit stereo, but just turn it all in mono and do your mastering and send it all to a mono channel and then play it over a big PA and listen to how it sounds. Sounds actually really much better. Yeah, if you use a lot of stereo separation in clubs, you get all sorts of harmonic problems, yeah, in the frequencies. Whoa, what is our ping? We have really crazy ping. I'm feeling it, guys. We're having a crazy ping over here. Yeah. So if you're ever setting up some sound for a party or something and you have just all sorts of problems with frequencies and, you know, just try for a joke, you know, turn everything into mono. Bridged, or just connect everything mono. And then play again some sound through it. You many times see all of a sudden that a lot of harmonic problems and frequency and sound being out of phase and all sorts of things can really just be solved by playing everything in mono. Yeah. Yep. Because you know what the funny thing is, you know, that human beings are actually really, really interesting, man, human beings. We have two ears, you know, and that's also a little bit the thing with, you know, surround, you know. Yes, it exists, you know, but surround is a sonic illusion, you know. It's because, yeah, I mean, you perceive surround, but human hearing, you are stereo, you know. I mean, you have 2 ears, you don't have 7 ears, you know. And your ears are very good to be directional, to see out of what direction sound actually comes. But that's actually just a sort of an illusion. You know, while your ears are directional, they can really pick up if the sound comes from the back, from the side, from the front, you know. I mean, you still have only 2 ears, so surround is a little bit of a illusion. Not that you cannot create it in a room, because you can, you know, but you have only 2 ears, you're stereo. And by the way, if you take an electronic music track, and even if there's some sounds that really ping pong from the left to the right, balance in the speakers, you know, from the left to the right, some filter sweep or something, you know, if you have that going on, try that also. Just connect it all in mono, play that same thing again, and see what your ears do. Your ears gonna by itself create some sort of stereo image over there, while what you're listening to is totally mono. Your ears can themselves sort of create stereo effects, you know. So I'm talking about using then 2 sets of speakers. So you're using 2 sets of speakers, 2 amplifiers, but you connect everything in mono and you send that signal in their mono. So both channels are receiving the same information, and play it and tell me that your ears are not itself sort of creating stereo in there. It's really, really interesting how human hearing works. So if your sound doesn't sound well when you set up your party for your sound system or something, if you have everything in stereo, go mono and play again and see if you don't have all of a sudden all sorts of strange sound issues solved. It's really interesting. That too many speakers together is also a problem, eh, guys? If you have too many speakers that are all itself sending a separate basically, you know, when you mix up a lot of speakers, you get all sorts of problems, you know, unless all the speakers are basically the same, you know, because you have to then you have to set the levels for them, you know. If they all have a different power outputs and frequency response and sensitivity, then it's very difficult for you to dial that in, you know, for all those speakers to sound well together, you know, and then you can get all sorts of also audio issues. Yeah, audio is really weird, man. And then, of course, you have also acoustics, huh? Your room does also strange things, you know. And again, also, many times it's also caused by frequencies colliding, you know. Yeah. So try that out. Stereo is beautiful effect, by the way, but it's yeah, can really start creating audio problems. Sometimes really good to go mono. And you know where you also always should go mono? And that's really true. If you do audio production, you should really on your sub frequency, so the bass drum and the kick and all that kind of stuff, and even other drum percussion and stuff, you should all do in mono. Even when you're there in your DAW working it all out, that part you should do in mono. And you should not even use stereo samples. You have to really convert them to mono samples and use mono samples on your bass and your drum and your percussion and stuff like that in your sub part. Yeah. If you do that in stereo, strange things start happening. Do that in mono. You can even put your synths and all the other things and voices and everything going in stereo with, you know. with a lot of width in it, you know, make it really wide and stuff. But you cannot do that on basses and drums and treble and some percussion. You can high frequency percussion, but everything low and kick and stuff like that you can't. Sub, no, mono needs to be mono. I made that mistake also in the beginning that I did audio production. Because why is it all sounding so bloody weird, man? And there were some people explained that. Now put all your bass drum and your kick and everything in mono in your DAW. Pan it really left or convert it into a mono sample, even better. And now do again that, and the rest you can do your stereo with your voices and your drones and your synths and your whatever. And it just sounds completely different. Yeah, so there you go. I cannot even see my ping over here. Doesn't want to also slide down in the list. Don't know what that is about. Come on, guys. I think I'm having a lot of ping, guys. He doesn't wanna go down in the list. I cannot see it, but I'm sometimes now a little bit suffering here from ping. Yeah, it's a little bit breaking your anyway. Okay, next match is gonna be Operation Metro again. Oh god. Yeah, next round's gonna be Metro again. So now what ticket? This is 46282. Yeah, but speakers like that you can today still get cheap, but it's not going to be very long also, because those kind of speakers are not going to be very long available anymore, you know? Yeah. Many people throw them away. They all want only the stupid headphones, earbuds today, and the little sound bars, you know? So a lot of these things are disappearing out of people's homes, you know, and there's only so many of them, you know? So many people have thrown them away or sold them already, you know, so you don't see them so much anymore, you know. Years ago, I saw so many of them. You saw them even sometimes just, you found them in the trash, you know, speakers and stuff. Today you see very little. Yeah. Yeah, but they're still today for okay prices available. But that's then also just the simpler ones more that you had at home, you know. Because if they're a little bit more special, then also count on immediately already today pay a lot for speakers, you know. Or they're already more rare, not so many of them around anymore, then yeah, you're gonna pay a lot of money already for speakers from the 90s and the 80s, and the 70s even more, and 60s. Pay a lot of money for them already. Especially the speakers from the 80s and the early 90s, they were really good. That was also when speaker technology changed, you know. Especially in the early 90s. It changed really. They really started producing way better speakers. Smaller speakers with the same power that in the 70s you had like a 12-inch speaker, you know. In the 80s they had already 8 or 6-inch speakers that basically performed the same as the 12 inches from the 60s and the 70s, you know. So, really interesting. Yeah, it's changed a lot. Speaker technology really evolved in the early 90s, so yeah. Cabinet designs in the early 90s, they started also using CAD programs to like design really the right cabinet and the right uh, wave guides and bass reflex systems and stuff like that. Low pass filters built within speakers, you know. In the early 90s, they started really being really good in calculating all of that and making really awesome designs like that by using, well, science and CAD programs. Yeah. And also started producing much smaller speakers that had the same power as much bigger ones from years and decades before. Yeah, really interesting. And also getting more watts out of them. I mean, in the 80s, if you had 80 watts, then it was, whoa, everybody was, oh my God, what a power you have. Today you see speakers that are the size of the speakers from the 80s that have a 250, 300 watts, you know. So, yeah, technology and, you know, manufacturing have also changed. But also quality went down in some things also. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought we had Operation Metro. Weren't they saying that? Man, I thought it was really Operation Metro we were gonna play now. Een sniper over there. But at home you don't need a lot of power, guys. You really don't need a lot of power. Many people think that, but you don't need a couple of 100 watts at home, you know. If you have an amplifier that can reproduce a good sounding 210, a good sounding 50 watts is already many times too much for at home. Many times the volume that many people have at home is between 10 to 15 watts when they're just in general listening to music, you know. So, yeah. 10, 15 watts is many times already for most rooms. Now, if you have really a big area, then it's of course different. You need a little bit more power. But in many average homes and rooms and stuff, 50 watts, 2 times 50 watts is more than enough. Because most of the times when you have it adjusted for a pleasant volume for general listening, it's about 10 to 15 watts. You know? So look yourself actually how high your volume many times is of your amplifier. It's many times actually quite low, you know. For if you look at the maximum the maximum volume of an amplifier. And many times we hit only a quarter open, or you know, 1/3 open or something. The volume. Yeah, it's a little bit of a misconception. Many people think that you always need a lot of watts. No, you don't. You have, by the way, old amplifiers that have very low wattage, but the wattage comes out of it is really good, and they many times sound better than amplifiers that have 3 or 4 times more the wattage, but the wattage that comes out of it is not good. Yeah, it's really true that. It's also like that with valve tube amplifiers. 50 watts in a tube amplifier sounds sometimes louder than 120 watts out of a transistor amplifier, you know. That's really true. There's also more coloring and harmonic distortion, you know, tubes. Yeah, a lot of distortion in there. Saturation. That the so-called audiophiles love the tubes because of the saturation. But you know what it actually is? It's just a distortion, you know? Yeah, but has sort of his charm, you know? It colors the sound. Some people find it very pleasant, but is it really actually quality sound? No, it's not, because it has a lot of distortion in it, you know? Harmonic distortion. Yeah. But it's warm, that. It's the same as a vinyl, you know, has that warm feel to it. It's saturation. Yeah. Warmth. Human beings interpret that as analog warm, you know. It doesn't sound sterile and clinic and like a digital does, you know. It humanizes the sound a little bit, analog music, analog sound, yeah.
We have set the charge on objective Alpha. We just disabled our charge on objective Alpha.
Again, you. You're, by the way, now listening to analog audio. My setup over here, I'm using a professional microphone, a studio microphone, normally for recording vocals and stuff like that, or for bands. That's what I use. I use an analog mixing table over here. Then I use a 15-band equalizer, an analog one also, with high pass and low pass filter in there, and that goes through USB. I got ultra lag, guys. Yeah, I'm screwed. I got a lot of lag going on. Yeah, and that goes then from my analog mixing table goes to the PC. So you're basically almost everything you are listening have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains in there, and then it goes digital in the PC. But most of it, what you're listening, is analog. So the microphone is analog, the mixing table is analog. Then has also EQ on it on the mixer, and then goes with the inserts. So it's not a normal audio connection; it's through inserts. The 15 band equalizer with high pass low pass filter is inserted in the analog mixing table and then goes there from analog to digital to the PC. That's what you're listening now. So most of what you're listening is analog. That's why you can listen my cell phone going sometimes between it. Picks up my cell phone signal. And it's, by the way, all XLR balanced connections. So that prevents interference, and you have more gain. You don't have 1 volt on the analog circuits, but 2 volts. So you have more gain. Only my microphone setup here is not really great where I sit over here, so sometimes I get a little bit of the audio peaking. So no, it's not like most people have. They have then one of those arms and then with a microphone really under their mouth like that. It's not like that at all with me. I'm just having here a desk where I have a monitor in a closet, and the desk is a microphone standing on. And I'm sitting in front of it, and I just move to the front and to the back, and that microphone just is picking up everything in general. So I'm not talking directly in the microphone. So I got a lot of preamplification over here. That's why sometimes I come also too close to the microphone, or I move my head in a certain direction towards the microphone, you get peaks. You get a little bit clipping. But I love analog, that's why I have it like this. There you go. I have also those headsets and those other microphones that go through USB, but they all sound too sterile, too clinical, too lifeless, to be very honest. Guys, I have a little bit of a lag today here on this server. I don't know what it is, but I think it's even the same one I was playing yesterday, man. This one. I think this was Ja also, but who knows, man. So yeah, guys, keep him alive. Again, UCAV, oh my god. And by the way, guys, when I put my stuff to YouTube, that's why also my stuff sometimes is really, really loud. I don't use LOFs as a measurement for my audio output, so the volume of my YouTube videos and stuff like that, and my live streams. I do everything on -1 dB, like you normally do when you master a CD or something, you know. So I don't have minus like most have -6 dB or -12 dB or anything like that. My stuff is really always like very loud. Oh moly. Oh, we're now in the metro, okay. See, I don't even know this map so well, you know?
There's your medkit. Pick it up. Here's your medkit. Pick it up. I got your medkit. Here's your medkit. Pick it up. Throwing grenade. Here's your med. Pick it up. There's your med kit. Go get it. There's your med kit. Go get it.
He's dead already. Why did you do that?
Here's your med kit. Pick it up. Here's your med. Go get it. Here's your med.
I can help you.
Yeah, and then by the way, also I use in OBS, I use a limiter, a compressor, and the equalization is all done analog through the gear I just talked about. But then in OBS I use a limiter, a compressor, that's then a leveling compressor and a normal compressor, and I use that's then separate on the audio and on the microphone. So I both on that use limiters and compressors, and then I use also noise suppression.
Here's your med.
But these are just plugins that I use in OBS. But the rest of it, everything you're listening is analog. So.
I spotted a hostile machine gunner north of your position.
At the old times I put it like really a lots of how do you call that VST plugins on in OBS, but OBS starts being a little bit unstable when you do that, and it kept on always sounding very clinical, very sterile, very digital. So And the moment I went like this with the analog mixing table and high pass, low pass filter, and then especially the analog 15 band EQ, I straight got a little bit more humanity and a little bit more analog sound in it. Just sounds a little bit more natural. Not good. I'm just talking about natural, more a little bit more analog, humane sound to it. And that, by the way, doesn't mean that it has more quality, you know, just the way it sounds. Yeah, I'm gone. Without also those YouTubers who are using a lot of effects with a very, very heavy voice, with a very compressed, overtuned voice, like that. I don't like that also, you know. So I'm not using those kind of VST plugins. I don't need to also sound like some sort of late night AM radio station with a very, you know, warm depth voice. I don't need that also, you know. Some YouTubers, they sound really, really too processed, their voice. But too processed within the digital domain, you know. Yeah, they really do. I'm bottom of the list. So am I today. Have cold hands. But try that if you're a YouTuber and you want to get a little bit of a different sound, make it a little bit more natural, a little bit more humane. Put some analog stuff between your microphone. Can even be you go to a thrift shop and you just buy yourself really an old used hi-fi equalizer or something. Can already do magic that. Or an old analog mixing table. Just push that signal through that and then put it back in your PC. You'll see. You can even send it back into your analog input of your sound card, the blue input. Send it back in there and then send it like that to OBS and get very interesting results with that. Doesn't even need to be, this gear I'm using here is professional, both the mixing table and the EQ and the high pass low pass filter. But you don't even need that. You can even just get yourself a hi-fi EQ or something. And you can already get or a mixing table then with equalization on it and use the equalizer in the mixing table and push it through some analog gear and get some more warmth and humanity in it. So this is also the China Rising expansion, this, if I'm not wrong. Nice looking map. This is also a map I hardly know, you know. What I'm saying, guys, Battlefield 4 I've played very little. Battlefield 3 I have, but then reality mod. Not even a normal Battlefield 3. So even the maps of Metro I don't really know so well, you know. Yeah. Beautiful map, man. They were just all of a sudden spawning there in front of me. 57. No, I'm up in the list. 67. Let me now see the ping a little, because just before I was playing, I had a little bit of a lag here and there. Not constant, but yeah, a little bit. And it's strange because yesterday I played this server also, and I had it only like one time. That was then that for a microsecond that I had it. Today was a little bit worse. This is a cool map, man. I like this. I remember seeing people playing this. Yeah, I remember this map, but there was people just basically playing it as a. And then they were commenting on something else in the video. There was like a video that didn't went about Battlefield. It went about something else, but they were using this video just as a. Yeah, sort of background image during a commentary about something. Yeah. It wasn't even a review. Yeah, I've seen somebody playing this already. Seeing already also, yeah, the ping today in general is higher. Yesterday it was 50-52 most of the times. It's now 66, 67. So, you know, the average that I'm seeing. Yeah. Yeah, 58, meaning yesterday was 50, 52. 57, yeah. Oh, I'm now on sick. I thought I was on Ja. No, I'm on sick. Super Infantry Clan. Yeah. I thought I was on the Ja server. That was the one I was playing yesterday. So this is a little bit the problem of this server, guys. Because 3 days ago I was here on sick also, Super Infantry Clan, and I had a lot of lag also. And yesterday I was on Ja. And I didn't have that. So, yeah, this is a little bit this server, I think. Let me go back over here. We'll exit to. And I'll go back to that one I was yesterday. Even not just the server that is screwing up. What's that? This one? Yeah, is there people playing now? Joining server. Maybe there's nobody playing. I don't know. I'm just joining, but I didn't even see if there were players there. But this was the one I was yesterday playing. This one was running really well. Yeah, it feels straight better, this. 52-50, yeah, this feels immediately better. That other Super Infantry Clan, yeah, that was the one also that 3 days having a lot of a lag also, was completely breaking. Yeah, so that's just that server. Luck, son.
We have control of objective Charlie.
Noobie noob noob. But noobie noob noob is number 1, so he's not really a noob. Yeah, now let's see if this is just that super infantry clan server is full of lag, because this feels way better, man. It's not just the, you know, your 52, the other was 66, 67, sometimes 58, 57, but this just feels way better, man. Hey, this was the one I was yesterday playing on. Yeah, feels way better. Yeah, this feels way better, guys. Way better, this. Now you're hitting also 59 for a moment, you saw it, but this just feels way better, man. The ping is almost the same, but this, the other server, the 6 server, Super Infantry Clan, was really, really laggy just, man, the server I was playing before. Felt really bad. Ah, it feels way better, man. This server is way better.
Вот, медпакет, возьми.
What you visually see in your ping here doesn't say anything else. We're on 63. You basically have the same ping as on that server of the Super Infantry Clan just. But this server, ja, plays way better. Gotcha.
Objective Bravo is neutralized. Objective Bravo is neutralized.
Вот вам медицинская помощь.
That was a little bit of a break there.
Вот, медпакет, возьми. Вот тебе медпакет. Медпакет! Вот тебе медпакет!
Fuck that guy with the kill assist. What the fuck are you talking about, kill assist?
Вот вам ваша медицина!
Receive control of objective Bravo.
Kill assist. Oh my god. 1240, 1500.
Objective Charlie is neutralized. Listen up. Objective Charlie is now under our control.
Кидай гранату!
We no longer have control over objective Charlie.
Noobie noob noob. Noobie noob noob aangelaan voor de kill.
Objective Charlie.
Where is that sucker?
Hands up, grenade!
Must be there.
Objective Alpha has been lost.
Where is that fucking thing?
Here's the medkit! Patch yourself up! Get going up!
Guys, I got a little bit some lightning on the sea, close by. I've seen already some flashes, which I don't really like.
Медпакет!
Go
Медпакет,
back in.
возьми! Вот вам, ваши медицины! На тебе! Медпакет, возьми! Вон медпакет, возьми! Вот вам, медицинская помощь!
We've just neutralized objective Bravo.
Бросай гранату!
Multi-kill. Yes. Well, love in the chat again, guys. Check out the chat. For obvious YouTube reasons, I'm not gonna say what they're saying in the chat, but you can read it yourself. Big disclaimer, I'm not responsible for what people say in the chat. Nor I'm responsible for people's fifis.
Вот, медпакет, возьми! Вот, медпакет, возьми!
Be advised, we now control objective Bravo.
На, медпакет!
Конечно.
Тебе медпакет, возьми!
You dumbass.
Медпакет! Вот тебе медпакет! Вот медпакет, возьми! Мне нужны патроны! Вот медицинская помощь! Вот, медпакет, возьми!
Lol. Anyway, the hardcore here.
Вот медпакет, возьми! Вот вам! Вот тебе медпакет!
Oh my god, this game is already getting a little bit more exciting now. Getting more these battlefield moments. Yeah, this server is way better. This is the one I played yesterday also.
Вот медпакет, возьми! Вот медицинская помощь! Медпакет, возьми!
I get like a big confusion.
Вот вам ваше медицинское оружие. Вот вам ваше медицинское. Бросаю! Гранату!
Got these rats over there just waiting for people to come down the stairs.
Вот! Медпакет! Возьми! Вот тебе медпакет! На, медпакет!
Ah, with a law, my god, man. What a scumbag, man. You know, a law is like, it's probably like $250,000 a shot or something, you know that. One time you pull the trigger, those things are really that price, you know. And up. You have, I think the javelin is even more expensive. I think a javelin is like 800,000 or $1 million per shot or something. You don't use them just on a foot soldier, you know.
Медпакет! Вот! Вот вам ваше медицинское!
But I was going a little bit for less healing, you know, and more for a little bit more for the gameplay. Lag shit. There's somebody was saying just in the chat. I noticed also a little bit, yeah, that today is a little bit more laggy than it was yesterday. But still, this is better. The other server was way worse. Super infantry. But today's a little bit more laggy also, but it's not visible in the actual ping here in the server. But it just feels more laggy. Somebody's saying it in the chat, and yeah, it is true. Today is more laggy than it was yesterday. You guys probably can even see that in the stream compared to the stream of yesterday. The stream of yesterday was way more smooth than the one of today. Oh, look, there was a little hiccup over there. Again, a law in my head. Oh. Yeah, it's better to go through this side, guys. This side's actually way easier to break through. This side here. Medic, 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 medic. Multi-kill, another multi-kill. What's that? The best way we have is to break through here is like this, guys. Guys are breaking through the main area now, which is a bad idea. Shot from the side. What score is it? 525, 750. Yeah, even this one is a little bit more more than yesterday. What a madness again.
Objective Bravo is neutralized. We now control Objective Bravo.
Вот, медпакет, возьми.
Medic. Are we losing? No. Not yet, but close by. We're close by losing.
Вот тебе медпакет.
They're all down there. Fuck's sake. 436 and 1,000 tickets.
Вот медпакет, возьми. Вот тебе.
Oh.
Медпакет, вот. Вот тебе медпакет.
No way you break through that. No way. The madhouse. Almost the end of the round also. No chance, man. 210 tickets left. Think we're gonna win. There was a little break over there, guys.
Медпакет, вот! Вот, медпакет, возьми!
Come on, medic, medic, medic. Almost the end of the round, guys. Not gonna take much longer. So today I went a little bit less as medic, you know. I today tried to play a little bit more as really assault and shooting really instead of just reviving and like giving life, you know. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a little bit Metro 2014 on Battlefield 4. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Today was a little bit more laggy than yesterday. It's way better than the 6 server before, but it was still a little bit laggier. Laggier than yesterday, but it was playable. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and I hope to catch you in the next episode. Cheers and beers.